If Walt Disney made a kitchen video, this would be it. A step-saving kitchen, 1949, plays like a Walt Disney short film. The narration and music just set you back in time, like you're waiting for the ugly stepsisters to come running in the room as this lady is cooking their dinner. But does a step-saving kitchen from 1949 still stand up to today's standards of what we would deem to be functional? So I want to look at some of the specific ideas that this video brings forth, and let's see what we think.
Laboratory research in our Bureau and in the state agricultural experiment stations has made evident many of the requirements of a good kitchen. We have learned that more counter space is required.
So you need to have ample counter space. This goes without saying, and in today's kitchens, counter space, counter space, counter space, we can't get enough of it. But in this kitchen, the counter space use is very specific. So in this particular example, the use of this counter space is for baking, and they say that you need 36 to 42 inches, which is great. I don't disagree with that at all. The more space you have, the better.
To obtain different heights in our kitchen, we use pull-out boards.
All right, so this is where a lot of today's kitchens probably lack. There's only usually one height. We have one countertop height and all the work gets done at that height. Now I do get a lot of clients that request lower stations in their kitchen because they're shorter, and so because they're shorter they would prefer a shorter countertop to work at. But generally speaking, when you go to most cabinet shops and you're buying kitchens off the shelf, this is not really an option for you. But this is very specific to the user. So if you're taller or shorter, or you just are comfortable at a different height doing whatever you're doing, then having something like this is actually pretty effective.
We designed revolving corner cupboards to make the greatest use of available space.
Now we know who's responsible for corner cabinets.
Sorry about that.
Unbelievable. While I am vehemently against corner cabinets, listen, I understand. You want to use that space. The whole idea of this video is to maximize the space available. Given all the problems that come with it, in my opinion, this is still a very functional way to access things down low in a corner. Hate having to say that.
Good lighting is important in the kitchen. To obtain this,
that stands up in today's standards as well. Lighting is definitely something that's very essential in a kitchen. You need to be able to see what you're doing.
And for making out menus and market orders, we also included a planning center.
The kitchen desk was invented here, I guess. Very functional for its time. Overall, it's generally not something that we see a lot of anymore. And I personally don't think they're that usable, but I mean, I could be wrong.
The planning desk is actually a drop leaf table on casters.
I like this because they're using it. It's multifunctional. It can be rolled around. It can be used as an island cart, which I think is probably ahead of its time, and this is very good in my opinion.
By placing a large picture window across the end of the kitchen, we gained the benefit of natural light over all work surfaces.
I like this a lot. This is probably the best part of this kitchen. I mean, there's lots of cool little nifty gadgets in here, but having just a massive window, awesome.
In the mixing center, as in all other work areas, we planned storage facilities to take care of all of the supplies and the equipment used in that center.
So the idea here is that the zones of the kitchen are specifically used for those particular tasks. So there is a mixing center, a baking center, and all of the items used for that area are stored in that area. Makes complete logical sense. It's very functional. It saves you from running around the kitchen, going to get this and going to get that. What I want you to look at specifically is the cabinet above this lady that has the tray dividers up top. That, I think, is a very good idea that we don't see enough of anymore, or a lot of anymore. It still exists out there, but usually we don't see this. I really think this is a cool thing, a great feature, a functional feature.
These revolving corner shelves make it possible to store the heavy and frequently used foods near working level.
What am I going to say? That this is not functional? Of course it is. Everything's right there. You store the right things on it. I'm sure it works great. You know, of course, my fear with anything corner revolving is things falling off in the back. But aside from that, in just terms of accessibility and reach and getting access to those things, provided they don't fall off the back and you have to go digging for them somehow, this is very functional.
Shallow drawers give handy access to small equipment used in the mixing center.
So of course, drawers, drawers, drawers. One of the things I love in kitchens, of all the kitchens that I design, I try to put as many drawers as possible. I just think they're the most usable cabinet. They did in 1949 as well, so that's cool.
See how easy it is to get at what you want. We designed the smaller top shelf for long-handled pans to allow full use. Space ordinarily wasted is utilized to advantage by these built-in bins for flour and sugar.
This is the essence of a great functional kitchen. And while these particular bins won't work for everybody, and of course the way that we use our kitchens is a little bit different in today's modern world, the idea is what's important. We're utilizing space that ordinarily is wasted. If you want to work with me to design your next kitchen, check the link in the description below where you can get the details on how we can work together.
A garbage hatch in the counter eliminates stooping and avoids repeated handling of garbage.
This is something that does exist still today, but it's not something that's been widely popular. I think it's actually a good idea if it can be done right. You know, this could be undermounted just like an undermount sink and easy to access, easy to wipe things into. And I think it's something that probably we should reconsider in our kitchens.
Notice how these doors fold back, safely out of the way.
I love that, actually. Normally we just have opening doors, but they have these on piano hinges and they fold out of the way so that you don't bang your head on them or you gotta move your head out of the way. Something that hasn't been invented yet in 1949 is a pull-down wall unit, which would have been very handy in this particular kitchen because above those plates and above those tray dividers, it's clear to see that this lady cannot reach those things, and having something like that would have been beneficial.
In the dishwashing center, dishes are scraped directly into the garbage hatch and stacked ready for washing.
So again, another great use for the garbage hatch. Wipe everything in there. Don't have to worry about stuff getting on the floor. If something spills, you can just easily wipe it into that garbage hatch, which again today would be much cleaner.
A double bowl sink provides for both washing and draining.
All right, so there's no dishwasher, and a double bowl sink would be very handy in this particular kitchen. You all know, if you've watched any of my videos, I'm not a fan of double bowl sinks. I like a large single, all right? That's just how I like it, and I've had lots of conversations about why one would be better over the other, and it all comes down to how you use the space, and in this particular kitchen, she's using the space in a way where she needs to have a bowl full of water and a bowl that she can dry things in. So, of course, it's very functional, and if you use your kitchen like this, then a double bowl sink will be the right choice for you.
Here's a handy rack for drying dish towels.
So a handy rack for drying dish towels is a great idea. I'm not sure how well they're going to dry inside a cabinet. Isn't that going to get kind of musty, maybe moldy? So I don't know if I agree with that one. So here's my takeaways from this video, and you can apply these to your kitchens now. Number one is to consider the overall function of the space for you. It's your kitchen, and it has to be designed for the way you use that kitchen. Number two is good lighting. I mean, that's just a must. You need to have good lighting in the kitchen. It makes everything easier. It's much better when you can see what's going on, and I think it just looks nice. Number three is add as many drawers as possible. I think drawers are the most usable type of cabinet. Number four is to utilize the space available in the most efficient way possible. Now, the next thing you can do is just watch this video next to show you some more great tips on how you can design a very functional kitchen.